Like, to be a successful person at anything, you have to act like the wolf is always at the door. Okay. So therefore, look, I'm not saying that this program is right for everybody, because it is not, and it should not be. What I'm saying is that there are frameworks in here that have been proven over and over again that if you have a mentality that the wolf is at the door, like I always have to self-improve and that I always have to be working harder and better and smarter, not just harder like in time. I don't need to put 16 hours a day for the rest of my life. I will not advocate for that.
If you guys haven't heard me talk about Shawn enough, I brought him back for more. So we are going to dive in to his whole structure and program that he's had live for quite some time now. And he doesn't know this, but I've actually talked to a couple people that have been in his program to get a feel for what they were experiencing and to make sure that I was backing the right guy, which I had a good feeling I was. But they had all good things to say. And so I'm excited to hear more about Shawn's experience in this and everything that he has learned thus far. So thanks for coming back today, Shawn.
You know, anytime you say, hey, why don't we hop on and do a video and go live, I'm down. I like hanging out with you, Drea, so it's good times.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to tell my husband that people actually do like to hang out with me. Out of their own will, their free will, mind you. So let's just jump right into it. Tell me a little bit about how the program is going and really like where it started to where you feel like it is now.
Yeah, I'll kind of start where it kind of started. I started looking at about a year ago, just looking at what are some financial and business success transformations that I personally went through, my wife and I really started just kind of outlining and jotting that down. What did it take to go from A to Z and really start building wealth, especially using our property management business, understanding how to effectively create more value out of the management company, utilizing relationships in the management company to buy additional assets to help. What we saw was that we saw a lot of clients that were struggling, like forced landlords or accidental landlords, some folks call them, that didn't actually want to own a rental property and were waiting for somebody to come along and help them be away from being a landlord. And so I was just really outlining about a year ago, and that progressed into doing a big, like a data survey, if you will. I surveyed 53 property management company owners to see where their financial lives are, where their situations are, their business structure, how to kind of wrap my mind around where their financial situations were, to understand like mindsets and how can they go from A to Z, and are they already progressing there, and to see if there's anybody in the space that's actually building wealth beyond just the management company in the space. And so that took about 5 or 6 months to really dive deep into that. And then it was hosting a live, after I'd outlined it, taken all of this data, it formulated into hosting a live cohort with folks that are wanted to be on that journey and understand like how to transform from A to Z and to really shift their financial situation, utilize the management company in an appropriate way to build wealth with, and really set it up on a legacy wealth format where if they were to die tomorrow, that their family would be set up and not left wondering through probate on how this is going to affect their loved ones. And so that happened. And then now I've evergreened the content. So now it's really set to be at your own pace. So, because like these are big transformational things where they don't happen by just watching a video. You have to take action. You have to institute mindsets and even teach your staff on how to have these conversations with clients. And then utilizing, just scripting, if you will, or a framework to purchase rental properties and so on, and just really build your wealth and set up times with an attorney and estate attorney on how to set up a living trust. And there's just a lot to it. But anyhow, it's evergreen. You come, you put in the work, and then it's coaching on helping you progress through any questions that you have, analyzing investments, or just getting through a mindset threshold that maybe that is keeping you from taking a risk, or you're looking at risk more of no reward, and I don't want to take a risk because I think it's going to be a detriment to me. And how do we talk through those things? And yeah, I help along the way, like really want to come alongside our participants and make sure that they have all the resources and tools to be successful with it. And it's really a
Right.
framework that's designed based off of my experience and mentoring some other folks in the past through these processes, if you will, or systems
Yeah.
through generating wealth.
I love that. So just to recap, make sure that I am clear and everybody else who's listening is clear, because I got questions if I'm right, right? So you have it set up to where you have online courses per se for each of these situations, would you say? Every webinar that you did is now online. To whereas people have this course, this college course, is the best way I can explain it, right? That they can go on and take at their leisure. They can go as fast as they want, they can go as slow as they want, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Rewatch as many times as needed to get the results you're looking for. Yeah.
Okay. And then on top of that, you have this group coaching opportunity. It's not one on one, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we formulated it that way to build a community of other people that are transforming they themselves alongside other people that are property managers.
Okay. And as far as the community goes, because there's so many ways that people set this up, right? And I just want people to really have this huge understanding of what they're getting themselves into when they work with you. And so for the community, is there a specific online area that you have a community set up? Are you guys communicating through email? Maybe it's Facebook Messenger. How do you guys have that community set up outside of just the online meetings that you guys have?
Yeah, great question. So we utilize School, which is Skool,
Mhm.
and it is a phenomenal community-based tool, and that's where the community and the courses are held. All the materials, all the scripts, all the basically everything you need to succeed is held and hosted inside of School.
I love School. I'm actually setting up my DIY course in there, but I can attest to it because there's two different programs I've taken under other people who use School, and it really is so easy to use as a user and not only just somebody who's using it to set it up like you did, but it does create a really great community where it's all centered and people don't have to wonder, did I miss anything today? Like there's so many good ways to set that up to where you can be in the know all the time. So I can attest to that, even though I'm not even in your course. But I'm not a property manager, you guys. You should know this by now. I just have massive FOMO that I'm not allowed in. So for those who aren't familiar with your program, can you share a little bit about what it's about and how people can expect or what they can expect when they sign up?
Yeah, so it's really a holistic approach on business and finance, and how business and finance relates not only to our business financials but also our personal financials. What I often see and what I saw from all these surveys and the interviews that I had with the 53 property managers is that when we start making more money, we then allow our lifestyle to creep up with the amount of money that we make instead of taking the lifestyle and keeping it where it's at and utilizing the invest the rest mentality so we can gain and grow wealth. And so we take a personal finance approach in addition to a business financial approach. And we really are looking at focusing on how do I increase my revenue as well as decrease my expenses in my business and my personal life and use that delta to look for investment opportunities. And when investment opportunities come, then we have the mental capacity and the financial capacity to seize those opportunities.
Yeah.
So often people say, look, somebody asked if I would buy this investment property, but I didn't even know where to start, or I looked at it as just a risk and not an opportunity to invest. And oftentimes, when you look at it just as a risk, then you can't think creatively on how to actually make the terms or the offer in a win-win situation for the seller and yourself. That it makes sense and that it will pencil to be a good investment. And so we take
Yeah.
that approach throughout the entire course. And it is really 9 modules long, um, in various, most of the videos then have, 5 to 10 minutes long. They're really quick hit, purposely refined it to be on point, if you will. So it's
Mhm.
not drawn out. I know that the most valuable resource on this planet is people's time and attention. And so
Amen.
I've really focused on how do I condense the material so it has the most value humanly possible. And then what I do after every time somebody then goes through the program, I want to interview them and get their feedback, and then I'll go back and iterate so
Mm,
that way that it could be even more condensed or more thorough in certain places that need to be more thorough and whatnot. And so I really am focused on getting the results. Like, look, I don't care about selling a product. That doesn't matter to me. I do very much care about somebody gaining results through it, because
mm,
to me, it is sad for me to see that so many business owners take so much risk in business. They take insurance risk of liability, time away from their family, and all of the things, and then don't actually create a good lifestyle for themselves beyond just living up to those means. And it really should be, I view anytime, say for instance, I want to go buy something and it's a big ticket item. I don't view as me going and go take out debt to go buy that thing. I actually look, okay, if this is going to cost me $200,000, what investment can I make for that $200,000 that will pay me the same amount that I need to pay for the investment? And so, therefore, it doesn't ever dip into my income. My income never reduces, it always increases. And so,
right.
that's the mentality I want to teach people. Like, don't take all those risks in business and then not be truly rewarded with it,
Mm.
and create a wealth generating flywheel.
I love that. I love that so much. And whew, I'm pulling cords over here. And so can you walk us through a little bit about the key benefits that your participants experience after completing the program? And that, if I'm not mistaken, and you can clarify for me, is like they can complete the program, but they're still with you afterwards, like through the calls and everything. Can you walk us through a little bit more of that?
Yeah. So, yeah, say for instance, somebody completes all the videos and all the material and they've gone through it all. It's a
Mm-hmm.
1 year program. So, I want people to be heavily involved, be part of the community, build it up, and just be part. If you choose to go on beyond a year, then we have a monthly participation investment. But the original investment for the 1 year is a one-time investment. So, and to go beyond that, like, to answer your first question, is what are some experiences or results that my
Mm-hmm.
participants have achieved? One of them, he's like, Shawn, after doing your time savings module, we call it your most valuable asset. But after doing that, I was able to save 60 to 70% of my time and reduce my labor costs because I was able to condense a remote team member into another remote team member and utilize them as a personal assistant. And so they not only saved money financially, but they saved 60 to 70% of their time. Was huge. Like, oh my gosh, that's, I would love to have 60, 70% of my time back. But those are the principles that we teach in that. So
Yeah.
that's one. Another one was, I didn't realize, but I was paying $3,500 a month, $3,500 a year in subscriptions that I was no longer utilizing. And so they were able to cut that through our personal finance session. And that
Wow.
was just one data point there. Another guy was like, I've never thought about utilizing my portfolio as an opportunity to buy investments. Every time a client came to me and said, "Hey, I want to sell my house." We didn't ask questions. We didn't understand where they were coming for, why they actually wanted to sell the house. We would just pass it on to a sales broker and we would
Mhm.
refer it out. And so now, every time somebody raises their hand or is frustrated with owning a rental property, they have those conversations to discover what the client's actually emotionally, physically, monetarily going through to figure out if they can actually be that solution for their client. And then they get to retain a door, they get to buy an investment property for themselves, and it's really a win-win. And so that's that. One of those clients is it's never crossed my mind. I've always just referred them out to brokers, and I'm like, not to rub salt in it, but how many opportunities do you think you've missed? And he said probably 50 or 60 opportunities to buy. So
Jeez. Yeah, holy cow. I mean, it's just like the subscriptions, like they just
yeah,
keep adding up until you actually start doing something with it, right?
right.
I love that. And I know you had touched on this and just a little bit beforehand, but how do you ensure that the participants not only learn, but they're also implementing the strategies that they're taught? Because I'll be one to tell you, I've been in group settings before, and I've been with coaches who actually really care and they hold you accountable. And then I've been with coaches that are like, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening in your life. So, how do you ensure that everybody's implementing the strategies and holding them accountable?
Yeah, exactly that. It's accountability. So the cool thing about being an admin within our school community, I get to see where people are within the course. And
Hmm.
so what I do is like I check in on my participants on a weekly basis, and then I will do a personalized Loom video and say, "Hey, I noticed that you're on this module. How's things going? What's been the struggle? Or is there any specific questions that I can answer
Mm.
for you? And is there any hangups? Can we get through these speed bumps together and get you past it?" And so that seems to be a great accountability method. The other one is just like, "Hey, you haven't participated in a little while. What's going on? Is there, something I can help with?" The community's small, and that's what I love about it, is that
Yeah.
I'm not spending hours and hours trying to do these reach outs, and if I was, then somebody would get missed and left behind. And so that's what I
Hmm.
really love. I love the community that's small. I want to keep it intentionally small and make sure that everybody's getting my personalized attention and accountability to progress through it.
Mm. That's so important. Because there's depend upon the program. There are some programs that can have 100 people in there and not skip a beat. There's
That's right.
some programs that can't handle more than 7, right? Like,
Yep.
so you really have to find that perfect number to make sure that you're still being there for people, but you're not overlooking them. And something else that I mean, I get a lot all day long, everybody that I'm talking to. So I'm curious, and whether this matters to somebody or not. It probably does. But can you kind of break down what a typical week or maybe even a month looks like for somebody in your program? Like, how much time they'll need to be dedicating to even see that success? Not so, I mean, I know we've covered what they'd be doing, but just kind of that time factor, as it sounds like is a really big deal in what you're teaching, is time
Yeah.
management.
Yeah, I mean, a good portion of it is time management. And so, like that, because of that, was a main focus on how I set it up. And really,
Mm.
it's it is self-paced, like I said. However, I think if you dedicated 1 hour a week into it, you can see massive results. Obviously, everything you do in life depends upon how much you put into anything. If you want to be a professional baseball player, then your full-time job is to be a professional baseball player, and you're going to have to work full time at it. But
Right.
I think you can have substantial results by 1 hour a week. And that is if you think about all the things that grab our attention, 1 hour a week is very minimal. That's
Yeah.
probably just putting down your phone and not looking at TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, it is. I can attest to that. Like, I even have it scheduled on my calendar to batch create content every single week, and it's just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. So you can get a lot done in 15 minutes. Imagine what you can do in an hour.
Yeah.
As
Oh my
long as
gosh.
you
Yes.
have that dedicated time, for sure. And you're right. Like, there's world distractions, but at the end of the day, like, you got to make it a priority. So I love that. Who is the ideal person for this program? Is it a seasoned entrepreneur or those just starting out?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in between that plus the seasoned entrepreneur. I think the property managers that have reached a level of success where they're generating a decent amount of income, but have kind of hit a plateau with whether it's with time, whether it's with money, whether it's with client fee structures, if you will, because we have a big module and an understanding how to create more value within the portfolio. It's a successful property manager. I've kind of put a fictitious threshold of like 150 doors or more, but that's
Okay.
where I've seen once somebody hits that 150 mark or more, they kind of progressed and matured as an entrepreneur within the space a little bit, where they can start to capitalize on the fundamentals or the framework that I teach.
And if somebody is like, what advice do you have for someone who is hesitant or they're not sure if they're ready to take the leap and join your program?
Okay, so what
Oh, you were
as
ready for this? I thought I
no,
was
no,
going to
no.
get you.
But this is what makes it comes to my mind. Like, to be a successful person at anything, you have to act like the wolf is always at the door. Okay. So therefore, look, I'm not saying that this program is right for everybody, because it is not, and it should not be. What I'm saying is that there are frameworks in here that have been proven over and over again that if you have a mentality that the wolf is at the door, like I always have to self-improve and that I always have to be working harder and better and smarter, not just harder like in time. I don't need to put 16 hours a day for the rest of my life. I will not advocate for that. But if I act like tomorrow's not promised,
Yeah.
therefore a program like this, it just gravitates the success, because I can utilize a path that's already been drawn out for me, that somebody's already taken, and then just implement. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. These are fundamentals within business and in property management that somebody's already proven the path for me, and I can just utilize those to accelerate my personal ability to create wealth and build a bigger and better business.
Wow. I thought I was going to stump you on that one, but you nailed it. You gave me the goosebumps, like the chills in the best way possible. That is so pivotal to everything outside of business and in life in general. That is really cool. I can't wait to snip this video up just for that moment. Okay, but what are common challenges that the people are facing when they first join your program, and how do you help them overcome those hurdles if there's something that hasn't been mentioned yet?
Yeah, the biggest one is just people carving out time to make it happen, to actually do the work. And that's why the very first module is your most valuable asset of time. And one of the frameworks that we teach in there is to look at, it's called the WHOOP method, but it's to look at all the obstacles I'm going to face in trying to achieve a goal, and thinking about all those obstacles now so I can actually plan for those when they arrive. So, for instance, if I was to go run a marathon, and I knew that in order to run a marathon, I got to do a lot more running than I do, but that's going to take a lot more time. And so what do I need to do to face the time factor of time blocking or whatever? Well, I need to probably tell my team, look, between the hours of X and Y, I'm not available because I'm running. And so that's an obstacle that I'm facing first and planning for. Number two is maybe, look, when I am running, I can't be interrupted. So you guys have got to have a framework on how to tackle decision making in the business without my involvement. So I need to empower you to make the decisions without me being there for every decision. So that's just some of the examples, but is to look at, like, if I'm going to achieve this goal, what are all the things that I'm going to possibly face that is going to prevent me from achieving my goal? And most people don't quit big. They quit one small little tiny decision at a time. It's those little things that keep me from, that one thing, and then it becomes two, and then three, and it becomes a slow fade that I didn't achieve my goal. And those, that's why we hit time so hard at the beginning, because the reality is if we can focus on this goal of achieving this financial framework, we're actually going to achieve it.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, that's why anybody goes and hires a coach or a consultant or, my gosh, even a therapist, right? Like they've been through it. They know what you need to do, and you don't have to jump hurdles in order to get there. You got this straight line, right? And you could take a strength coach, just for an example. You want to go to the gym, you want to get a certain body build, you go hire this strength coach who knows exactly what you need to do so you can like skip all these loopholes and everything else that comes along with that. Like they're taking you on one direction. So I agree with that 100%. One other last question I have for you is someone who has completed your program. I know we talked about how they're still involved, they still have that opportunity to keep growing with you as they go along. Any new modules that you're putting out, they're getting. Any new coaching that you're putting out, they're getting. But what does that success look like long term for them? Like, how do people continue to grow after finishing your program?
Yeah, what's really nice is that so much of it is foundational, meaning if we lay the right foundation as we progress and grow our wealth, if you will, then it starts to snowball. Those, like I mentioned at the beginning, instead of buying something and I just go take out a $200,000 loan, what investment can I make in order for me to buy that thing? Well, that just becomes a snowball because now I have a new investment, and as it matures, it increases in cash flow or equity or whatever, and then my next goes on. So I get to use that delta, invest the rest progressively. So as the foundations are laid through this, then it becomes more advanced on investing. That's how they continue to progress. Like when a new investment comes, is this a savvy investment to make? Does this align with who I am and what financial achievements I want to achieve? And so, yeah, those are part of it. And then obviously I've added additional things to the program. And that's all included. Like they get more advanced things and whatnot. And I hope, I'll give a little cherry out there, but I hope that the group will get to a point as we have investment opportunities, and maybe it's something I can't take down myself, that we present it to the rest of the group, and then we have a group effort to either take it down or somebody can take it down within the group themselves.
Wow. Yeah, that is really cool. I love that. And then y'all are there to help each other get it done.
Right.
So that's really cool. So if somebody is watching right now and they are feeling inspired, but they're unsure if this program is the right fit for them, they get to have a conversation with you first, right?
Yep.
So they can come to you with all their questions, because what they're going to do is they're going to use my link to schedule with you. And if they schedule with you through my link, isn't there something special that they get, Shawn?
They do $1,000 off for the special Drea one. Yeah. Anyway, so there's some money right there. But yes, we do a fit call. We want to make sure that you're the right fit, because what I would hate is somebody to join and then they get nothing for it. That's not beneficial to me, and that's certainly not beneficial to you. And I don't want that. And I want so desperately to have a strong community that we're building together. And so, yeah, I want to make sure everyone's a right fit for it, and not looking to just fill slots. That is not the hope here.
That's truly what I love most about you, Shawn, is the fact that like you're in it to see other people succeed. You don't have to be doing this business. You are wanting to be doing this business. And I also know that anybody that does come into your sphere of influence, that they're going to be treated right, that, you know, like you said, you want to make sure that they're a right fit for the program and it's not just them wasting money. Oh, it kills me to know that there's too many people out there that just jump in feet first into something thinking they're going to do it. They don't have any accountability to get it done. And I just think about like all the money that gets wasted, the time, the investments that should be going towards something else to help you fund that investment, right? So that's really special, I think, of what you do, is them being able to talk to you personally to make sure that it's everything that they're hoping and dreaming for, and then they have you personally to hold them accountable in the end, and then as well as being able to continue to grow with you and learn from you through that. So if anybody is hesitant, there will be a link. You go talk to Shawn and get on the right program for you. Thank you again, Shawn, so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Dre, and thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you guys later.
Cheers.